What's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on April 30th, 2025. How's it going, Jack?
Going pretty good, man. Like it is almost May. Like I can't even believe we've made it. Like tomorrow.
It's gonna be May.
No.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. And Maul, how are you doing this fine day?
Doing pretty good. We're getting into summer movie season here pretty soon, and off to a fine start already. So I had a good time with that this week between Sinners, which is pretty excellent.
Oh yeah.
And then a re-release of Revenge of the Sith at the movie theaters this weekend as well. So, I had a good time. It's still not a good movie, but it was a good time.
It's a great movie.
Good time.
It's not good. It's great.
It's something. It has got the whole movie. It's the whole back half is just where everything that's good is. In that it's so a long build up.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Sinners.
We can get into that though.
Sinners. I saw Revenge of the Sith already. Of course, with
sure
the whole family. And then Sinners, I haven't seen yet because we got to get a kid's time. But Ryan Coogler was my classmate at SC, so I always.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I always try to see his movies.
You should hit him up. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. I'm aware. No, he's a super. I had his producer Sev for like all of his movies, including this one. Spoke to my class. Was it like a year or two ago about producing? But no, Ryan's awesome. He's a super great person, super nice, and also obviously super talented. So, wish him all the best. And
excellent. Well, yeah, it is a great movie. So definitely, to get out to it.
I'm excited to see it.
As a warning, I do have two cats in here with me this evening, so I'm waiting to see if they start fighting at some point over the couch or something. So you might see them start flipping around in the background or something. We'll see.
Flip. And Logan, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good. I've been enjoying movies this week as well. I went and did a double feature of the Minecraft movie and Revenge of the Sith on Saturday, which is a wild experience. The Minecraft movie is one of the most bewildering things I've seen in the theater in a long time, but it was a blast.
It's just not for me. I don't know.
My kids loved it.
Yeah, my kids loved it too. And I didn't grow up.
Kind of.
Well, I didn't grow up playing Minecraft. So, and I just never got into Minecraft. So it's just not for me. So I try not to judge it too harshly because I'm not the audience for it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it for those that love it. But yeah, I didn't like it at all.
It was both annoying and incredible to me as a person who has played a ton of Minecraft because they could have put more effort into it and made like a movie that is genuinely good. But there are like so many lines in that movie that remind me of something I would just say to my friend on a Minecraft server, and I was getting some appreciation.
Well,
from
to
that.
me, it was like Jack Black just walking around and saying what was happening.
No, that was a thing too. Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
No, that's
But yeah, I don't know. I know folks that liked it. Where I teach stuff that are younger than me, and good for them. I'm glad that they liked it. I did not.
Like is a strong word. It was a new movie. I have never.
Did you like it? It was new.
I've never felt that way watching a movie before. My mouth was just kind of like agape the whole time.
It's my second least favorite theater experience I've ever had. The worst was one of my kids really wanted to go see the Emoji Movie. And that was really awful. I also am not a SpongeBob fan, and I really like the SpongeBob movie. Drove me nuts the entire time. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Revenge of the Sith was a good palate cleanser immediately after that.
Amazing.
And then I've been binging Daredevil the rest of the week, which has been amazing. It's my first time watching that show, and I've been loving it. Starting back at the very beginning.
Cool. And
it gets
Darria
so much better. Just
purple.
keep watching.
That's very purple.
I'm excited to see the Daredevil.
Yes.
I still haven't seen Daredevil, but once this week is over, maybe I'll start. But Darria is
you
very
go.
purple. She is trying to come. Her webcam is angry with her at the moment. So we'll see the fight to the death. We'll see who wins. But she really wants to come on and talk about Brittany's dance beat.
No.
That's not a true statement. No. She'll have much better picks. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the topic at hand. So we decided to talk about underappreciated games. And for me, it really came about because I'm playing a game that I underappreciated and seemingly lots of people underappreciated. But I've talked to several people that it's like their favorite Zelda game. So everyone didn't underappreciate it. But Majora's Mask. When I first played Majora's Mask, I remember I played it at Shadow's place, and I liked the very beginning of it. It's all spooky, and you're on the horse, and what's his name? Is it the Skull Kid? Is that his name?
Yeah, Skull Kid.
Yeah. Okay, I just played it. I don't remember. but yeah, that part's all spooky and fun, and I like that. And it's cool that Link is all of a sudden more advanced and can do his flippy flips when he jumps a little bit nicer. But then when you get into the town, I remember really hating finding those kids. And it's not unheard of that in a video game you do like little tasks like that. But for whatever reason, that particular day when I was playing it at his house, I thought that was the dumbest, most boring thing ever. And I just never wanted to play it again after that. I just, those kids drove me nuts. But I decided completely randomly this week that I'd give it another shot, partly because I had been playing a little Ocarina of Time, and I was like, people seem to like Majora's Mask. Let's give it a try. And I like it a lot. I got past the kids. I found their, butts, and got their passcode and got in the secret thing. But no, it's definitely more kind of mini game focused, and that's not really my forte. But I like that it's darker. I like that it's a kind of a darker story, and just the visuals in general are kind of darker. And from what I understand, you fight through the stages of grief through the different, which is appropriate at the moment. But it's good from what I've played so far, and I've gotten through the kids. I've gotten through a lot of those first tasks. I've gotten through the first day, and I'm in the swamp. I'm not super far in it. But I plan to keep going forward, and I've tried it a few different ways. I tried it on original hardware, and then I tried the 3DS version. I like it on even though the frame rate's not great. I like playing it on the original hardware better. The music's really good, really good. I love the music. And I had a student that was telling me, who's a music major, that was telling me something really interesting about the music, and now I'm forgetting it. But there was something really interesting about the way the music was written thematically that I will hopefully remember next time. But it was really interesting, and I thought it was cool. But no, I like it. I'm gonna try to play it all the way through, hopefully, eventually. And yeah, What did you guys play Majora's Mask?
I've played every game in part, just working in the game store. I've played a bit of every game. I never finished that one. Yeah, honestly, on you thinking it was kind of boring when it came out is interesting, because I have a perspective of just hearing a lot of opinions, a lot of just from, and not like critics' opinions online or people writing magazine articles or whatever, but or blogging, but just kids who bought a game and sold it in at the time. And I kind of feel like, from your experience, that was actually a lot of people, not that it was necessarily boring, but people just didn't like Majora's Mask as much when it came out, immediately following Ocarina of Time. And I feel like that's the truth of about half of all Zelda games, is that they come out and everyone's kind of what is this? This isn't like the one before it. I kind of hate this. And then like a decade later, everyone's like, it's a classic. We were wrong. And obviously first Zelda, big hit. Zelda 2, I remember a lot of us in the playground were like, I don't know where I'm going. This overworld map is driving me crazy. It's so much harder, and just didn't dig it. They made up for it with the Super Nintendo, but then, you know, Majora's Mask wasn't well received. Wind Waker, most people just love Wind Waker and Gaucho, and I agree. I think it's great. A lot of people at the time just hated the cartoon look and just like would not give it a shot.
Yep. I remember
I feel
those
like,
days on the
I feel
show.
like
There was lots of people on the forums.
You know?
Rawr.
Yeah, I don't want to sleep with this Link, so I don't like the game. That's
Man, I wouldn't like any of the Zeldas.
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, Link was everyone was enjoying the jokes about how hot Link was in Ocarina of Time. You know, after he grows up and like all the NPCs want to get with him, and so did a lot of the fan base. I feel like, you know, and just wasn't the same for him. Little Toon Link. He was my Smash Brothers character too. I liked him better as Toon Link than Adult Link.
Yeah, no, I loved Wind Waker. I wrote so many things online in support of Wind Waker. I was so mad when people.
I remember most of those. Yes,
yeah, I was so mad when people were against it because of the art style. But Ocarina of Time is a really awesome game. Like it's I've been playing that a little bit too. It's better than I remember. I mean, I remember it being awesome, like, and being super into it. But it's actually better than I remember it being. It holds up better than I thought it would. But yeah, Majora's Mask is a really cool game, and it's very different from the other Zeldas, and I am really excited to get back to it. So
yeah, I do appreciate the impending doom in it.
It makes you
just watch the apocalypse. Is fun.
It gets you stressful. That angry moon coming down at you. You know, looking up, and there it is.
I mean, it makes a really interesting, you know, framing device for the entire game, because you've got that, and then it's like, okay, take what you learned this day and go do something new to get a little bit further. It's kind of like, you know, the Outer Wilds now would be a good analog to that in today's, you know, gaming. But like, it was something completely different. Majora's Mask, like, I liked Ocarina of Time. I really liked Ocarina of Time, but Majora's Mask, for whatever reason, like, I played that thing for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and it just lost my interest so quickly. I don't know. I think it was just the way the story started and how things kind of got moving. I could not stay with it. I was like, I'm gonna go play something else.
That's exactly how I was. And I never really thought about it again. Like, I never really. Anytime I think about Majora's Mask, I would just think boredom and like tracking down kids, and neither of those things were appealing to me. So I just never thought about it. It just was like a random thing. I was like, man, let's just see, and I was surprised how into it that I got. There's also some things that you kind of need a guide for a little bit in that one, more than Ocarina. Like, I feel like Ocarina really guides you in the game, and you can beat it without a guide. I mean, pretty easily. But Majora's Mask, there's just some things. And the other thing that drove me nuts back in the day was the saving system. You can't just save like you can in Ocarina of Time. You have to, like, you know, do that song, or later on, well, after the first day, you can save at the owl statues. I've always felt in games that you should be able to just save always, because, you know, you're busy. Like, I don't want to, you know, all of a sudden you have to go, and then you've lost all your progress, and then that really kills my desire to play the game. So
that is something I've really appreciated with playing through Final Fantasy 16. Is this like, hey, you need a save? Go ahead.
That's nice.
Save. It's cool. We'll save your progress.
We're losing you, little Jack. We're gonna save your progress.
I know. Yeah. Thanks.
But no, I've also maybe if we get to what we're playing, I'll talk about Final Fantasy 16 a little bit too, because I've just barely started it. But yeah, that's Majora's Mask. If back in the day, if you played it and you didn't like it, you know, maybe give it another shot. I was talking to a student of mine this week that is super into games, like as much as we are, and he was really praising it, saying it was his favorite Zelda, and he loves like all the Zeldas. So I don't know if I'm gonna get quite there, but it's definitely like an enjoyable experience. So it's worth it so far. We'll see if it lasts. But Jack, what is a game that you feel is underappreciated? We'll try not to say hidden gem. Oh, I said it. And by the way, if you want to write in and tell us your hidden gems, you can go to breakmanx.com and click on the Discord button, or just write in here below the YouTube video or the Facebook video, and Logan will catch us up on your picks. We'd love to see those. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So Jack, what's yours?
one of my favorite games that I think is a little underappreciated is PsyOps for the original Xbox. It also was out on PS2. It's a Midway game, mid 2000s or early 2000s, I should say. It was really one of the first console games, other than Half-Life 2 on the Xbox, that really did anything with physics. And like you could you basically had telekinesis. You could pick dudes up, you could throw them, you can pick up boxes and throw them at dudes. It was a really cool little sandbox game where you just had to kind of figure out, hey, how can I physics my way through this little, arena and kill these guys in the next room. So it was really cool. They set up some really fun little, Rube Goldberg machines for you to figure out. And there were just inventive ways to kill the guys between you and your objective. And it wasn't terribly deep. I want to say it was maybe like 9-10 hours long, good third-person action game, but like for the time there wasn't really anything like it that was really doing anything that in my mind was really pushing what you could do with physics. And like I said, this is kind of coming hot off of Half-Life 2, really taking my brain over from a physics perspective and thinking physics was really going to be like the next big thing in gameplay. And to an extent it was, and then it just kind of, I don't know if it's, what do you guys think? Has it faded into the background and physics is just kind of something we expect and people don't really do anything with it? Like, or is it just one of those things where kind of Half-Life 2, Half-Life Alyx had their time with it, and now we've just kind of moved on to other things?
I wish we... Oh, go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, I feel like physics is something that I feel like a lot of games cheat physics more than like actually use just random physics in the game, because oftentimes just physics systems can be really hard to control and dial in, and you don't want the randomness to like inhibit the player at all. So I feel like a lot of games will simulate not really simulate, but like pretend to have physics, but really it's a more controlled system. Like Sonic is an example of that, which some people don't like as much, but they will do a lot of stuff where he has a more controlled like run on certain surfaces that isn't truly physics based, but it's because he's moving so fast through those 3D levels that real physics might just make it impossible to control. So I don't know. I think there's like, I feel like there's a lot of situations like when I've been messing with physics in Unreal Engine, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. But when I oftentimes would just leave it up to physics, I was running into similar problems. It's just hard to manage a lot of the time.
Yeah. No, I really liked Half-Life 2 and that kind of era of physics. And there was physics accelerators. Do you remember that? Like for a very brief time, you could get like a physics accelerator in your PC. And then it kind of got, put into CUDA stuff. But I would like to see it. I mean, physics, I don't think it was really focused in that brief window of time where it was like something they talked about when they were announcing the game. They talked about it a lot, and they really showed it off in the footage, and it was obviously like in the forefront. I would like to see that come back. I always thought it was really cool. And then PsyOps, I remember you showing me PsyOps in your room back in college. And I thought it was pretty cool then. I should give it another try on my Xbox, because I played it a little bit back then, but probably not as much as I underappreciated it.
Yeah. So. I do really like games
it's a good game.
I do really like games that have like a good dialed-in physics system, though, like Portal or some of my. That's one of my favorite series, and they really use physics well in those games.
I like the physics in F-Zero.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
The song's playing for Death Wind came up, but no, that game, like on the levels with the wind and stuff, it does have an interesting feel to it. I mean, obviously not nearly as advanced as what we're talking about here, but an interesting first attempt at doing some of that. But physics goes into the feel of the game, and that's super important. So
yeah,
we'd love to see more of that. But Maul, what's a game that you feel
actually
is...
real quick?
Oh, yeah.
My mic was muted there. I didn't even realize. I was trying to say. I think to your point, Jack, that like are the physics kind of like past their time? You know, as far as it being like a major component of the game. I don't know if I'd say so, but I think that was definitely like the point where we talked about it the most, right? Where like we just had gotten to where we could even kind of closely simulate like real world physics in a game, and everyone was like really, really impressed by that idea. You know, it wasn't all just like ragdoll, or your character is like, you know, like a brick just moving on a predisposed like jump path. You know, we really like paid attention to the weight of a character, and again made sure that they felt good in the game. And I always like you know, with Portal and stuff, a lot of good kind of puzzles and games kind of spring forth from that. I don't know that we're past it. I think there will be a lot of games that do play around with physics, but I don't know if we'll really talk about it quite as much. I think it'll just be kind of there, and people will just kind of decide if they want a game to feel real or if they want it to feel more arcadey. You know, is it grounded, or are you like a superhero? You know, in each title, kind of based on what's appropriate for the gameplay. There's still a lot of physics games out there, but they're more like puzzlers, and they're a lot more indie stuff these days.
Yeah. Which puzzles are good genre. I mean, Portal shows there's a lot you can do with puzzles and physics, and that's more about figuring out how the physics works and using it to your advantage, as opposed to like arcade games where you really want to like nail down the mechanics and you want something really consistent. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, in a way, we do still have a lot of like kind of like weird little crap mobile games that use physics engines in some ways. You know, like not always as well or as polished, but even like an Angry Birds is kind of using that in some ways, where you're like trying to aim, and then like the ballast of where you hit, you know, to cause like a collapse of the puzzle structure or what have you. Like, you know, it's definitely there. People think about it a lot, but on the development side, but I don't know if players are quite as aware as they at one point were.
Flappy Bird too.
Yeah, Flappy. I mean, and you got some weird things around like human fall flat, and you know, even Fall Guys and things like that. Yeah. And like, oh my gosh, it's Darria.
Yeah,
Darria.
Finally figured out.
We can continue with the show now. No, I'm glad that you're here, Darria.
It was the weirdest, oddest like set of things that I had to do to get the webcam to work again. Like, I couldn't leave it plugged in to restart. I had to unplug it before restarting and then plug it back in after uninstalling it.
The joys of technology.
Whole thing.
Yep.
But
technology is great when it works, but when it doesn't, I mean, it's such a cliche. But
it's figuring out why too.
But well, I'm really glad that you're here. We talked about some Majora's Mask and psyops and physics. So, Maul, what's a game that you feel is under?
I go for the hidden gem, as you said to not say earlier as well.
No, it's fine. People go nuts about that word on YouTube. They like get angry about it. I don't care.
Yeah, no idea. No, I don't know. Just a game I like that people have gotten to play. I know it does have a cult following online. Is thinking back to Metal Storm on the NES.
Ooh,
one that I always recommend to people are going through, it's a very expensive cartridge these days, but if you have an emulator, or maybe we'll try that and go hunt it down. That one was one there, like just an excellent, simple gimmick. At least nowadays it seems simple, but at the time it was pretty complicated, and the level design for it was really well done. So you are, for those who haven't played it, in a mech suit, and you're going through a series of like satellite alien bases, whatever. I don't even know, the name really matters in old Nintendo games half the time. But the gimmick was that you could reverse gravity. So you could play the game on the floor or the ceiling, and would often have to puzzle your way through like reversing gravity at key times in order to like get through like spike traps and puzzles, or move things to the ceiling or whatever. And just a really fun, cool mechanic. Nothing else was really trying anything that inventive really at the time. And I said it's difficult to design your level to be able to be workable for players who, obviously there are puzzles that require you to switch gravity, but you give the players that gimmick, they're gonna just use it all the time, no matter what. So your level has to be fully traversable from either angle, and that's fantastic. They did a good job there, and it really just had like a really a cool, chunky, like kind of anime look from the time. Like at the time it was developed, I think like popular animes were like Pat Labor and Appleseed, where you had a lot of like like anime soldier, like military units, police units and stuff, but they used like heavier, big armor. It wasn't quite as like sleek and artistic as it would become after like Evangelion became like the big hit that it was in the late 90s. So yeah, everything was just big and clunky and cool, and it had a really like anime vibe, which when that got featured in Nintendo Power back in the day, it was a cover story, one really? Issue. Just, it looked totally different than anything else. So that was really cool. And cool. It looks like someone's gone back and made a statue of the main mech at some point. It's kind of like a retro, like throwback little piece, which is pretty neat. So like to see that out there.
Yeah, really good choice. And it kind of goes along a little bit with what we're talking about with physics, because it has the gravity thing. Bit, right? I mean, going up and down. And that I've seen that particular game on a lot of like games that push the NES list. So apparently push the hardware pretty nice. Oh, I just found the Nintendo Power cover. That's pretty rad. That is a cool. I love that 80s style of mech. But no, fun game, and pretty technically impressive for that NES system.
For the day. Yeah, I was really happy when that came through at GameCo back in the day, and actually got to sit and play like an original cartridge of that. So somebody bought it from us eventually, and has a nice expensive collector's item that I hope they still have to this day. You never know.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was it. How much did you sell it for? You remember? I always like thinking about.
Oh, I don't know. Probably not that much, honestly. Like there's a few games that at the time, because it was harder to get, but it wasn't like cult status yet, right? So a couple of games like that one, like were underappreciated. It was probably like $10 or $15, honestly. There we go. That's Nintendo Power.
It's a pretty cool cover. Check it out. Look at its glory.
Though I will say, the pose on there does not really show how cool the mech looks.
It looks like he's like falling, like tripped on a banana.
Yeah. Much cooler when he's actually brandishing the gun menacingly, but it's
I love Nintendo Power covers. Right. There's so many fun ones. I love the Castlevania 2 one where it's like the decapitated head, and that like the parents got all don't do that.
That one was really cool. Yeah. Last time we were together, I was looking that one up as you were talking about it, Jack. Castlevania too. So I had to get that cover.
A good one.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the Video Game History Foundation? If you a certain level of their Patreon, they will send you like one random video game magazine from their collection each month. And there's a lot of Nintendo Powers in there.
Yep. No, I've been doing that for a while. I love it's so much fun. I do that. You can do it in two different periods. You can do like a 80s, 90s, or a late 90s, early 2000s, and I've gotten some pretty cool ones. A lot of EGMs. So, and the EGM compendium I've been flipping through. I just love old video game magazines. I love that the video game magazines from like 2000 and before have such cool artwork and things in them, and it's just the way that they're designed. And they're all different. They all have their own like style. You know, like Game Fan's going to look different than Game Pro, which is going to look different than EGM. It's a really cool period. I wish magazines. EGM might come back again, by the way. There's talks.
Oh.
But maybe like not monthly. I'm sorry, Jack. I think I interrupted you.
Yeah. It's all right. You know what they all have though is except for Nintendo Power, they all have those same ads advertising like the $5,000 home entertainment system with like a Neo Geo and like 6 other video
with like everything.
So you can enter in a contest for.
Did you ever see the video about that?
No, I haven't.
It was a total scam. No one ever won that thing.
I'm sure it was. I am that does not surprise me in the least.
Yeah, no, it was like it like showed this page, and actually Jack try to describe it. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a picture of it.
Yeah, so it would be in like the back section of almost like every EGM, Game Fan, 1UP, like any magazine you could think of in the mid 90s. It had like it was like a 60-inch rear projection TV, like a home theater system, a Neo Geo, like I think that there was like a TurboGrafx, a Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and maybe even a 3DO in some of them. But like every single system you could think of, like the ultimate like gaming setup for the time. But it was like, hey, you just have to enter like I think it's like $20 or something, or send them your information, and you get entered into this thing. And yeah, there you go. That's one of them.
That's one of them. It's a little bit more recent, unfortunately, but you get the idea. I mean, there's a 3DO there too, just like you said. Super NES, like literally every like frickin' system, Genesis, Sega CD, an amazing TV for the time, a whole entertainment system, giant speakers. And so it was this mystery word game. And there's a video on it online somewhere where they talk about it. Send in your entry fee. And you can get an extra entry if you send a little more. You send in your little entry fee and you try to get the mystery word game, and it's sort of like Publishers Clearinghouse was, except did people actually win that? I don't know, but it's like basically you'll send in the thing like, oh man, you're like one of the very few that got the puzzle. You're so close to getting the thing. Now if you just send in like a little more money and like figure out this puzzle, then and they just kept doing that. And I think this could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, they increased the amount you had to send for the rounds. But they did like a thing where they looked into it, and no one apparently ever won. It was just a total scam. $18,000 worth of crap they said they were giving you. I used to fawn over that.
I almost feel I might have entered that at some point. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, you see that picture as like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and you're like, oh my god, that's like the ultimate setup. I have to get this.
Yeah,
and it's like it's in a game magazine, so it can't be a lie. They wouldn't put that in there.
Yep.
It's got to be true.
Yeah. Oh man, God, I almost wonder. Should I divert this conversation?
Divert.
Do it.
All right. So
never.
I think I mentioned at some point, Brady, have you asked me about this at one point? But why not? It's talking about this like it's in a game magazine. It must be true.
Of course.
This is kind of like an interesting like film and show industry thing, and it's very similar, like about sources you think are true. So there was a fellow who lived here in Las Vegas, and he used to come into like the comic shop I was at quite a bit, and was like really known around town. We'd get set up in shops and let him do sketch covers and draw stuff for everybody. And I guess I'm gonna drop his name. It's known. He's if you search him up, it's still out there. But it was Matt Nastos, and he was a nice guy. Like I chatted with him and everything, but his claim to fame when he came in, because he was like a comic artist, was that he was like one of the character designers on Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he'd come in and do drawings and stuff with the characters and everything. And, I'd run into him a lot because we had a lot of like comic stuff going at the time. I'd go travel with the store and we go to different conventions. So he would be at like the Las Vegas Amazing Comic Con. I think he showed up in Seattle. He was at Stan Lee's Kamikaze at the time, which is now the LA Comic Con. And it was all over the place. Okay. And then he had a lot of really fun anecdotes about like stuff he'd sneak into the scripts for the show and everything. He put some kind of dirty jokes and everything in there, and just get on Disney's nerves and everything. And then one day, Disney put out a Facebook notice for this guy named Matt Nastos, who they were like, he's never worked on the show. Huh. And has just been faking his credentials the entire time. And if you hear him saying anything about this, please, respond to. And it was like the actual like credited creators of Phineas and Ferb had like a fan page. He was, please send an email here and let us know. He's been told not to do this anymore, and he just vanished into like obscurity after that. But it just made me think of it because he had popped up at all these conventions, and so we were all convinced he was legit. And my girlfriend was like, I don't know if he's on the show. I've never seen his name pop up on the credits. And she watched a lot of Phineas and Ferb. I was like, well, I don't know. Like he's at Stan Lee's Comic Con. Like surely they did their due diligence and did a background check on the man. No, not at all. Like he just said he was, and they were like, cool, you're in. Have a booth. Have everybody come pay you $50 a pop for a sketch of the characters, from you, and make all this money out the weekend. If you look him up online, you will still find videos of him being interviewed at conventions as one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb, and you will probably find the post from Disney saying, "Do not trust this man." But just wild, like people, you can just put one bit of evidence in the right spot, and everyone will just take it as fact. Yep. Forever, and it lives on the internet.
Oh, it's amazing.
For all time.
You'll see all sorts of crazy. So that really quickly reminds me of Tommy Tallarico. You guys know Tommy Tallarico?
Yeah.
Heard of him before.
He's a game composer guy, and he's done a couple things with his company anyway. And he did at E3. He had this video games live thing. And he played at E3. They had a video game concert, and he seemed like he had stuff behind him and all that. And he would say all sorts of crazy things, like that he had the Guinness World Record of composing for the most video games ever. Mm-hmm. That he'd worked, and not only composed but worked on the more video games than anybody. Like he had the record for it, and he would say things that like he worked on, like you can see the progression. So like Metroid Prime, like he worked on Metroid Prime, and then like he talked about like a couple years later, and then he's like, I worked for 5 years hand in hand with Shigeru Miyamoto, and he designed the game around my sound. like the evolution got crazy, and then it all came to a head because he in Roblox, which I don't play at all or really know, but the kids do. But he claimed to have made the oof sound in Roblox. And
I have. Okay,
yeah.
Yes,
and it apparently did go back to his company that oof was made. Not by him though, by one of his employees. But at first he credited the guy and say this sound actually came from Joey something. He made it years ago, and then as he found out how popular Roblox was, it then became I made it, and not talking about the guy at all. And then he basically said that Roblox was only popular because of his sound, and he wanted a horrendous amount of money, and he wouldn't say how much. He just said that it was 100 times more than what they offered him. So if they offered him $1,000, $100,000, and it gets crazier from there. There's a whole video breaking down all of his lies throughout the years, and they're pretty amazing. I mean, there's small ones, like he was on this TV show where he reviewed games and he gave Metroid Prime a 2, and then all around the internet people like make fun of him for doing it, and he goes to the forums. It's like, I never said that. It's such a stupid rumor. And the guy like dug up the video clip of him giving it a 2. Yeah. So it's like his whole, and there's so many lies. And then he made this like company, he bought Intellivision. Was going to launch this video game system, and he had some pretty high level people on it. He had like the co-founder of, or the creator of Xbox, Jay Allard, on it. And then like the previous marketing person from Mattel, but they apparently pretty soon figured out that he was like a con artist and left. But after they left, he's continuing to make videos and telling investors that he's got these people on board. And like the timeline shows that they were already gone. So there's like the video is literally like 2 hours long because there's so many lies they have to cover, and they span decades.
Yeah. The Amico, the Intellivision thing, it's like they've released apps, like iPhone apps, smartphone apps for it. But yeah, supposedly the console is still coming soon.
It is.
They have a whole bunch of Kickstarters that haven't seen jack since then.
Yeah, they've raised millions on Kickstarters and crowdfunding, and there's this one video where they got this like amazing, humongous office in LA, which is, you know, super expensive, and there's like no one in the office. There's like no one there. It's just like this wasted space. But anyway, if you want to deep dive, if you just search, you know, Tommy Tallarico, the oof sound, there's a 2-hour video. I can't remember the creator's name, but he's a British dude and he's bald. And he goes on this great 2-hour long expose covering, and it like the stuff is ridiculous. I mean, it's like, he wouldn't lie about this, would he? And he has like video evidence of him freaking lying about it. Like the Guinness people, for example, like he asked the Guinness people how they knew that he had done that many games, and they responded basically saying that they had they don't have evidence, but they have like a expert witness, and then all of a sudden the award disappeared from their website. But watch the video. You'll get a kick out of it. I can't do it justice. There's so much insanity.
I found a roughly 2-hour long video covering that topic.
Is it a bald British dude?
Discord. Yes.
Then you got it. What's his name? What's his name so I can properly credit him?
His YouTube channel is Bomber Guy.
Yep, that's it. That is it. Yeah, check it out.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. Check it out. The video, he just was doing the oof sound. The video, he said it was gonna be like 10 minutes long max, and then as he kept going, like it kept getting crazier and weirder, and like just lies. He's got to be a what do they call, like a constant liar, pathological liar. He just has to. I mean, he
yeah.
It's kind of sad, actually.
Can't help himself.
Yeah, but yeah, check it out. Not right now though. After the show, and enjoy.
Man,
why is the game industry so full of bullshitters?
It's not just the game; it's movie industry too.
Well,
yeah. I mean, but I'm just thinking about like, I don't know, what's his name, the King of dude.
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, Billy Mitchell. Like, and all of his records being like stripped from him in the last couple of years, and like all of it. I watched a video about that. I'll see if I can find the video on that again to give people credit for stuff. But like, they were breaking down how like everyone who was like his witnesses for stuff, because the same thing, like the video evidence was like really shaky, but there was a witness, but then the witness was like an old friend of his, and they're all friends with like the ref at the arcade that's like the
Twin
the
Galaxies.
one that records all the final Twin Galaxies.
Yep.
And like they had like the guy who was the witness has his own game high scores, and like they took a machine and like machine ran like a perfect time for these games, and it's impossible like to get the times that he's claiming to have. Like he's faster than a computer that makes like a perfect run. Man. And just like all these just layers and layers of just like, but you know, at the time when they made the claim, like, you know, it was like the Atari era. No one had a computer that could run a perfect game to like dismiss their crap or anything like that. But oh man, like kids at the schoolyard just claiming just.
He sues people.
Oh yeah,
too.
I played Ninja Turtles this weekend. I got a super pizza and I took up the whole screen and just kicked Shredder's head off in one shot. Had a kid tell me that once. That is the professional video game speedrunner industry of the 80s right there.
Just so
you know, it's not just.
There's the man. Look at that.
That's the man, the myth, the legend.
So just in case he wants to sue us, we're not contesting anything. We're not slandering you. Except for the lies that have been proven in court. Because there have been some.
Those are all I'm talking about are the ones that are proven, you know. So
yeah.
The thing is, like, if
he
he would have
people
just
for like lots of stuff though. Like he's like a very excellent man. I love his American flag tie.
You think about it though, but like the video game industry has always been full of, you know, bullshitters. Like you even think about the original like arcade operators. Like those guys were just cigar chomping like electrical engineers or just dudes that were good with, you know, could solder, you know, computer parts together. Like they're like, this thing here is like this machine's a good earner. Like this thing's great. Like it brings in a lot of money. But like they don't know what the game's about. They don't know anything like that. Like you watch like Wayne's World, and like that's totally like everybody that the arcade operator that Wayne and Garth have on in that movie. That is like every single arcade operator up until like the 2000s. And like, you know, even beyond that, just the video game publishers, like to some extent, that's still what they're doing today. Is just kind of bullshitting and just trying to figure out how we can just extract more money out of this thing, and hopefully, you know, one of our people that works for us will spit out a good game here and there. Right?
Yeah. Can I throw out real quick? Speaking of Wayne's World, I went back and watched that recently, and I felt really bad for the supposed antagonist of that, the old arcade owner, because they get him on a TV show and they just like just ride the shit out of him and just like make fun of him and just like make him look like an idiot. He's not doing anything bad though. Like it's not like he's ripping off the kids. Or his only crime is that he's uncool. Like he's not really a gamer, but he owns the arcade.
The 90s. That's like a
man, that's I guess. But I like for him to like really be like, I own all your show now. Or I stole your girlfriend, and like Rob Lowe does that, but he doesn't do anything like evil, and they just humiliate him, and he's just an old guy, you know. Maybe it's just me getting old, but I'm like, well, I'd feel really bad if some kids had me on their show that I funded and they were like, you're a piece of shit. They're like, oh my god.
That also has that great product placement scene with like all the different like Garth's like wearing all Reebok. It's like, it's a shame, you know, sometimes people just do things for money. And it's like, and he's like got Pepsi, and it's like, and it's the voice of a new generation, Pepsi. And it's like, oh, it's giving me a headache. Nuprin, small, yellow, different. It's great. I show that in one of my classes for product placement. I mean, it is a fun movie, but I feel bad for that guy. I don't remember the antagonist. Like, I remember him being an arcade owner, but I don't really remember much about it. I remember Rob Lowe more.
Yeah,
Rob he's the main bad guy, but they still...
Brian Doyle Murray is just there to be made fun of.
Oh, it's Brian. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to watch it again.
His poor wife.
But, Logan, you want to catch us up on the chat and then hit us up with your underrated game?
Yeah. So, Storm Eagle has posted all the messages in the chat so far. Thank you so much for chatting. We'll start with one of the most underappreciated games for me was on the PS1, and that is The Legend of Dragoon. It had one of the best turn-based combat systems with its addition QuickTime event. It had a really solid story with great music FMVs.
Nice.
Awesome. And then Metal Storm is a great hidden gem on the NES. Loved it. And in reference to the magazine ad, I remember that ad was a scam and a half.
Sure was. I didn't think so as a kid, though.
No, yeah. As a kid, you're primed to... Yeah, because it's a magazine that's being mailed to your house. It's an official magazine, of course. Why shouldn't you believe
My dad told me it was a scam. I was like, no, it's not.
And then Storm Eagle also says, Tommy had a show on G4 before they merged with Tech TV.
Electric Playground, I think.
Electric Playground.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's that's in the video. So he like always mentions if he's even tangentially involved in stuff. And then later on when he's claiming all these things he's not actually involved in, that he is involved in, they go back through the show and he's reviewing the games and he doesn't mention anything about being involved in them. I don't know. There's just so much lie evidence. But do you want to give us your underappreciated game, Logan?
Sure. So my first underappreciated game is Dino Run on PC, which, man, I love this game. I've been playing it since I was very young. It started out as a Flash game, but after Flash died, they had a port for PC that I bought and started playing. And it's a 2D side-scrolling runner about a dinosaur trying to escape extinction. And that game it's very thrilling for me. Not quite as thrilling as Sonic's, because Sonic is just so fast-paced, but there's something like the meteorite hits and then there's just this giant wall of debris chasing you, and if you're too slow you can just feel like the screen will start shaking and there's this low rumbling sound like that shakes you a little bit when you're playing. You're like, man, I gotta escape this. And I love the visual style too. It's like classic pixel art, and there's something about like pixel art dinosaurs that like you don't take the game too seriously, but it's still got like this fun edge to it. There's even some like cool Easter eggs in there, like you can just run through the level straight and get to the end, or there's like a few ways to survive and make it through extinction in like some unexpected ways. Like I think there's one hidden in a volcano somewhere that sends you to like this alien spaceship that takes you off the planet or something. Like there's some wacky endings. So yeah,
that sounds fun.
It is.
Is that the one that looks kind of like a Atari game?
It kind of does. Probably a little bit higher quality. Like it's got parallax and stuff. But
okay.
It's
cool. I love that kind of stuff where you mix the old with parallax.
Yeah. And the studio Pixel Jam is working on a sequel.
Pixel Jam.
Developed in Unity, and I've been following the development. It's looking really good. So it's one of my most anticipated games right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they did a few games back in the day. Pixel Jam, didn't they?
Yeah, they're still making games. Like they released one.
Oh, nice.
Oh goodness. It's Utopia something, like it's a vector style game.
Oh, cool.
Where you're defending a city from like this alien attack. Yeah.
Run, Gamma Brothers, Turbo Granny, Snowball, Sausage Factory, Rat Maze, Last Horizon.
Yeah.
I think I've played like one of these. I don't see that most recent one, but I'm sure you're right. But interesting. Good choice.
Yeah, thank you. That one's included in like this arcade thing that they're building. I think it's like a pack of games.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Run with the dinosaurs.
Awesome.
All right, Darria. What is your first underappreciated game?
Well, I will go to like the Game Boy Advance kind of games that I played most frequently when I was younger, and honestly revisit still today. But probably my first one be like the Pac-Man collection. My favorite game in that one was the Pack Attack game, because it was kind of like Tetris, but you still had to like direct the like little Pac-Man to the right direction to eat the ghosts, so you could collapse the tiles. Yeah. I really enjoyed playing that one, and there are a couple of, I can't remember the other games off the top of my head, but that was the one that I like would write down the passwords to continue the levels and all of that. So yeah, the Pac-Man collection for the Game Boy Advance is what would be mine.
Let's see, that had the original Pac-Man, that had Pack Attack. Did it also have Pac-Mania on it? Or...
Maybe. Hold on. I think
it
had
4 games on it.
It had the original Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, Pack Attack, and Pac-Man Arrangement.
That's the one I was.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember arrangement, but Pac-Mania is a classic. I love.
Yes.
I honestly love Pac-Mania way more than the original Pac-Man.
Really?
Unpopular opinion, but Pac-Mania is way better than the original Pac-Man.
Maybe every time Jack says
What
something
about
like that, it
Ms.
makes me not give him.
Pac-Man?
Miss
What?
Pac-Man is, I think, still the greatest, but Pac-Mania
Okay.
is way up there for me.
Yeah, I played this so much. That was what I was saying.
That's cool though. That's cool. I like. Makes me want to go play some more Pac-Man. So
Nice
nice
good
choice.
Pac-Man variants out there.
I do like puzzle games, so
Yeah.
things where you have to try to.
You know what you need to try, Daria? I can wait, but I have a recommendation before the end of the show. So
You can do it now if you want, or wait, whatever you prefer.
You sure? We can wait until what we're playing now. I'm good either way.
Or is it one of your choices?
It is one of my choices for what I'm playing right now. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then we'll wait till there'll be a big impact. But I want to make
Okay.
sure we get it before the end. So if we're running low on time, because your recommendations
Yes.
are good. That's one of the reasons I like doing these lists, is because you all give me cool things to try, or something like I haven't tried in a while, or something like that. But all right. So for my next pick, it's a game I've talked about a few times on the show, and it does get some attention, but I feel like it could deserve more. It's probably one of my top 5 games of all time. Radiant Silvergun, the Saturn. I just love I love the kind of almost puzzle aspect of it, because you start out with all the weapons, unlike most shmups, and it's all about kind of with the 6 buttons on the Saturn controller, using the weapon that works the best for that situation, and then you have the actual Radiant Silvergun, the sword thing that you can swing around and absorb blasts, which allow you to do this giant screen filling sword thing that just goes across everything and just destroys, which is a lot of fun. And then on the Saturn too, different from the arcade, you can do a save. It can kind of save your progress in a way. So basically every time you play it, as you play the game, your weapons power up. So the more you use a weapon, the more powerful it gets. And they can get pretty powerful, and you can actually compound this. So then the next time you play it, you say, okay, start from this save file. And so I have weapons that have been charging up since around 2008. So they are really powerful now. And if I'm stressed or something, it's like a really fun, just sit down. I'm super overpowered. And the music's awesome. It's by Sakamoto, the Final Fantasy Tactics composer. It actually sounds a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics. And the visual design of it's really cool. It's one of the better looking games on the Saturn as well. But there's just so much about it that I like, and it feels good. I like it. I like Ikaruga, but I like Radiant Silvergun a lot more. So if you haven't given it a try, it's available now and has been for a while on Steam and just about all of the modern consoles. So the one thing I would suggest, if it's possible, is to get a controller with 6 face buttons on it, because there is kind of a feel to, in my opinion, there is kind of a feel to where those buttons are on the controller. And there's different combinations you can do. And then there's a homing, not a homing, it's like a scanning attack that shoots this lightning at stuff, and you can use that to find all sorts of secrets. And every time you find a secret, it's like a little dog, and it goes so
That's awesome.
it is awesome. I
That's all it does. You just love the bark. That's it.
and it gives you lots of points.
Yep.
It gives you lots of points. But and I love the level design too. There's some really cool level design. I have no idea what the story is. I haven't listened to what they're saying enough or really cared about what's going on. I just like to do the zoom and the shoot, and it's a lot of fun at that. So, have any of you guys played Radiant Silvergun on any of the various platforms it's available on? What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I've played
You
it
gonna break
on.
my heart.
No, I've played it on the arcade, man. Some of the
rad.
ports that have come out for it are pretty awesome. The Saturn version's great, but honestly, the arcade version is the one I played the most, and it's a good
nice.
it's a good shmup. Like I will not deny, it's just you know, I when it comes to shmups, like we get to Radiant Silvergun, you get to Ikaruga and things like that, and I get like I don't know, like I just get overwhelmed. You know, when we had our conversation with Shmup Junkie a month or so ago, like it's one of those things where like, you know, things like you know, mid 80s to early 90s stuff, Twin Cobra, Sky Shark, things like that, some early Toaplan stuff. Like that's kind of like where I really feel like it was a good balance of challenging and not overwhelming. And then you get into some of like the cave shooters and some of the later treasure stuff, and I'm just like, I can't process. I just cannot keep up with everything.
Well, you need a save file from like 22 years that
Yeah.
has super powerful weapons. I've actually never found an arcade version of it in the wild. I've played that emulated before, so I'd love to play like an actual arcade machine of it. That'd be pretty cool. I don't like the remade like graphics and stuff as much. I like the blockiness of the original.
Yeah.
But I'd love like an actual sequel to it. That'd be kind of fun too. Taking the same idea. I know Ikaruga is like a spiritual sequel, but it's different enough, I think.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I'd like to see a Radiant Silver guns. That would be fun. But Jack,
Gold guns.
Radiant Gold guns. There you go. Nice. I like it. And they should release it for the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
The system that like 3 Americans have and lots of Japanese
come on.
people.
It needs to come out on the Dreamcast, you know.
There you go.
It just,
Dreamcast 2, which is going to come out in 2026.
Oh,
yeah.
Not really. I just sorry, Yuji. Love you for Sonic.
Art designed by Matt Nastos on that one. So that'll be great.
And music by Tommy Tallarico. Get the whole gang, and then high score by Billy Mitchell. Like the whole scammer
You
gang.
can do all the guides. Yep.
All the
Man.
So what's your pick, Jack?
So I'd say my next pick for an underappreciated game is Dino Wars Destruction of Spondylus for the NES. I don't know if you guys have ever played this, but like it is a weird. My friend had this when I was growing up, and it was always something that fascinated me because it was very repetitive. Like essentially, it was 2 levels back to back. You would do a side-scrolling level that was kind of platforming, where you were just a dude trying to get past some things and shoot like a really weak gun, and you had to just platform from one side to the other, going left to right, and you had to destroy like a shield or like a power core at the end of the level, and then you had to go back the way you came in. And when you went back the way you came in on the last screen, you hopped into this giant Tyrannosaurus Rex mech, and then you got to do a level where you were the Tyrannosaurus and fighting other gigantic mechs or other little tanks and stuff like that. And like the Tyrannosaurus had cool little ability to like, you know, shoot out just you know, like a spread gun or like a little like a boomerang fist, things like that. And there were just different power-ups you could get. And it just kind of escalated one level after another. But it controlled terribly. It was very frustrating to play, and it didn't have a really good save system, if I remember correctly. But like, I swear I put maybe 50 hours into that game over the course of probably 3 years whenever I was at my friend's house and we were playing games when I was a kid. And like something about that game just really stuck with me. And I won't say it's a great game, but it's definitely one that is underappreciated because it just had a weird spot in my brain where it was good enough and it was interesting enough because I couldn't really find anything like that on the NES. And you know, it was somebody, the game designers were trying to do something different, and I have to applaud them for that.
That's cool. I looked at a couple of the screenshots while you're talking about it. It looks interesting. I mean, I guess if it controls badly, but I will definitely give it a try. The graphics look interesting.
If you can find a copy of it, just at least play through the first, like, the actual Tyrannosaurus Rex piece. That'll give you a good indication what the rest of the game is. And if you don't throw your controller at least twice,
I can find a copy of it. But cool. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun to hear about games that you don't like. I've never heard anyone mention that game before. So that's a treat
sure.
that not too many people have accomplished.
Weird is there's just a lot of inventiveness in weird old games, and they really do stand out. Like what a strange world to just go walking around in sometimes. You know, just
I like to play the weird games too. I mean, now that you can play them more efficiently, it's fun to just experience the really weird oddball games that you never would have bought back in the day because funds are limited and you only want to get like the top games that you really want to play. But it's one of the cool things about the older systems now is that you can really do that. You can explore some weird games like Dino Wars Destruction of Spondylus. What a great name too.
Spondylus.
I know, right?
I did not.
Dino Wars wasn't enough. We had to have the subtitle in there too.
Probably spent more time on the title than like the gameplay, maybe.
The thing, just when we didn't have that much budget, like you say, it's more efficient for us now. But we didn't have the budget, but you wanted a game, you find it on clearance. It's all you have. You know, my Super Nintendo collection was half great games and half absolute garbage that I got from like the Blockbuster used pile.
Yep. Super Buddy,
sometimes
man.
you had fun with the garbage.
That was mine.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly played them. It was a way to kill some time. I played that Alien vs. Predator Super Nintendo game quite a few times through, always wishing that it was the arcade one, which was great. It was not that. It was very poor excuse for it.
When I would first play like a bad game when I was really little, it didn't last too long. But when I was really little, I would assume it was something wrong with me. Like I wasn't playing it right or something. And if I just tried it again, maybe I would figure out like how to make it fun. And it just, wouldn't happen. And then eventually I just realized that no, some games are just not good. And that's okay. They tried.
Well, I think the thing that helped you in your adult life where you're like, you know what? Unhappiness or not having fun, those are perspectives. I'm going to change my mind and it'll be cool now. It gets through a lot of days at work.
It's the Spondylus syndrome. I love that word. That's one of my favorite new words now. But Maul, what is your next pick for underappreciated video game?
I would like to take you on a strange journey into the world.
Let's do it.
Into the world of Octodad.
Oh yeah.
If you guys remember that, it was on the PlayStation 3. They put it out on part of the PlayStation Store, like a direct download game. I imagine Steam probably had it as well and everything, yeah, it was the one. Actually, to the one I had. It actually is a sequel. There was the original Octodad was just like a very little, indie release, but it got just from this bizarre concept, got a bit of a cult following. And so the one I played was the sequel reimagining Octodad Dadliest Catch. But yeah, so if you're not familiar, you are a octopus who has discovered the human world and has decided that he loves it there. So he gets in a nice suit and has his tentacles coming out his arms and legs. The rest are turned into like a mustache on his face. And his human wife has never figured it out. And he has birthed 2 human children with her somehow. And but the whole game is you trying to walk around in public places and not rise any suspicion that you're not actually a human, but your tentacle arm and legs will stick to everything. So your goal would just be like walk across the museum and you're just walking around, and literally your arms are just swaying and sticking to things. You can't walk in a straight path, so you're like wobbling around into shelves and pulling stuff up. And if you do it at the wrong time or in the wrong place, a sushi chef will see you and come chasing after you and kill you and all that, and take your children away, all that. So it is a weird game. Very fun though, just very silly. I think the grocery store, probably my favorite level, just because you have to go and like pick stuff up off the shelf, and very intentionally you're grabbing stuff, but you're sticking to everything else as you're trying to shake everything into the cart. Even at the beginning of the game, just trying to cook and operate like a barbecue grill, with your weird like analog stick control section, control mechanic was pretty fun. And it had a really fun, weird opening theme song that reminded me a lot of like an Aquabats song, if anybody listens to them. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Fun little indie game.
It looks interesting. I was actually watching a little bit of the supermarket level when you mentioned it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I love how he's just like lumbering along. Like, it's a very interesting movement that he has.
Yeah, and somebody he has a good job and a good house. He's got to be making high five figures at least to have that little single family home, and yet
he's a successful octopus.
He cannot speak. Yeah, he just gurgles and blurbles at everyone who talks to him and everything. So yeah, he's getting it done despite all of his disadvantages.
Admirable.
It actually looks kind of cool. Like the graphics actually look pretty good for the era too.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. It's a gem for sure.
Because
a hidden gem, if you will.
There you go, a hidden gem. Come at us with your picture works. That period of time had all those like really muddy games. They're like all brown. Like every single game that came out had to be like brown and dystopian and this is colorful. I would have liked it during that period because I got really sick of every game having to be like brown and rust colored. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say Gears of War. That was the name of the game at the time. So
Gears of War, Oblivion, all those games in that.
So
era.
brown.
Yeah.
Everything had to be brown. And like what
we were in
like
an era
colors.
of depression. Just like what we had, it was like after like Two Towers.
Yeah.
Everything had to be like color graded with this weird like washed out kind of greenish shade. So you can understand how serious the moment was.
Well, now that everything is great and perfect, we can have colorful games again.
Yeah.
Because the monotone is boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's great. But awesome. Thanks for sharing that one. These last two have been games I've never heard of, so it'll be fun to maybe check those out sometime. Logan, do you wanna tell us what your next game is? Any chat messages that intrigue you?
So there's been one more chat message, also from Storm Eagle. Radiant Silvergun is great on the Saturn, but I have it on the Xbox One. Okay.
It's good that way. It's good any way you play it. Mm-hmm. I love it on the Saturn.
Yeah. So my next game is actually Lost Media now, because it was a Flash game. On the Disney website. Yeah, I played a lot of Flash games before I had a PC that could play anything else. I played some Flash games. But this was Gravity Falls Pine's Quest, no longer available anymore. And man, I love the Gravity Falls show. Some of the greatest animated TV out there, in my opinion. And this particular game really intrigued me. It's another pixel art style. I was a big fan of those back then. And it was this RPG that had a surprisingly large world to explore and lots of different mysteries to solve. It kind of reminded me of the show in a way, but they also made it feel a lot like a retro video game, which was just fun to me. Very immersive in that way, because like the characters were, because it's Gravity Falls and it's this like weird kind of like magical occurrences going on in their world. The characters were supposed to be trapped in the game from the show, so they really nailed that storyline, I think. And there's just a lot of fun stuff to find, like Easter eggy type things, hidden secrets in the game, and just had a fun time exploring.
Cool. There's a spiritual sequel.
There is.
Gravity Falls Pine Quest 2 Dimensions. I just was good because I was trying to find.
I think that's a fan game.
Yeah,
I don't think that's official.
It's not official. It's a spiritual successor to the official browser game using the same graphical assets.
Okay, that's cool. I might have to check that out sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent
I'm gonna have
weeks
to tell my
playing
son
that
about
game.
that.
Gravity Falls was a good show, though. You're right with that.
Yeah. I love it so much. Like it's
Yeah.
probably my
Yeah,
second
my-
favorite animated show after Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I love
Nice.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And my son started
Yeah.
getting into it. My son started getting into Gravity Falls last summer, and like basically watched the whole thing all the way through, and then went back and watched it all the way through again, like literally within I want to say like 2 weeks, like
Cool.
just back to back. And then he really went down the rabbit hole on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rabbit holes are fun to go down.
So if anybody that has the files for the original game hears this, please release it again.
But don't let Disney know.
Yep.
They
Exactly.
Yeah,
don't underestimate their power.
That's fair. But man, it was such a cool game. They put a lot of effort into something that could have just been like garbage online, but it was.
See, I
actually
hate
just
that
a really,
we've lost
yeah.
that now that we can't play it. Like that drives me nuts. That
It is sad.
it should be preserved. You know, if they're not, especially if they're not going to make money on it, like, you know, throw it out there for people to play.
Yeah.
is
Because
it
there are
even available
ways-
on like the Wayback Machine on internet?
I kind of doubt it.
Or
but I could
archive.org.
look into it. I've looked for it a couple of times in the past wanting to play it again and just could not find it.
Well, hopefully someone at Disney maybe has
Yeah,
it somewhere.
hopefully they officially released it. There was a bit of a Gravity Falls revival here recently because they released a new Book of Bill, which is a pretty good book. I enjoyed.
You'd be
going through
surprised
that.
though. I mean,
Oh, that's what that. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know what that was from.
Bill Cipher.
It's more of
Yeah.
his story. It was a pretty solid book. I like the more that
if
created.
Square Enix could lose the source code for Final Fantasy VIII, then I think anything is possible in terms
Yeah.
of losing. Like, just amazing.
absolutely
And that's
could
not
have
even the
lost
only
this.
game. But yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good choice. I hope that someday we get to experience it.
It does
Yeah.
appear that there's some online playthroughs available if somebody wants to check out the gameplay.
At least you can see it. So that's good. And Darria, what
So,
is your choice?
So this is another one that I spent like hours and hours and hours playing on my Game Boy. It would have to be Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. You can replay the game over and over, but your level doesn't like reset. You can play it as many times to like get to 100, and I capped it at that. You can't go any higher than that. But
That's cool.
As you play through, you can also like collect more information about like different creatures that you encounter. Find more wizarding cards that also help you like with like it's like a turn-based system with different ways to like instead of using spells, you can use wizard card combos or things like that. And it's pretty cool. I think the Wikipedia thing said it was similar to Dragon Quest. I've never played that, but
You should.
but that's what it kind of said it was comparable to. But I love the music for it too. If I could have the soundtrack on just by itself on a disc, I absolutely would. But yeah, in the car when I was like, I played that game so much.
I remember when you showed me that game on the GBA, and I know it's
a Harry Potter game, but
it's okay. I mean, some people like that series. I'm joking. But I was impressed by the gameplay with it because it reminded me of playing like I mean, Dragon Quest, like a JRPG. I was kind of interested that they chose that style of gameplay for it, and I love JRPGs. So I remember you showing it to me, and I did like the bit of it. And I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I just, I tried, but but even not being a Harry Potter fan, I enjoyed the JRPG aspect of it. So
and I think it's interesting too. Like what they released for the Game Boy was very different from what they released for the PlayStation 2. Because I've also played that.
Which do you like better?
I like some of the like levels, quote unquote, that you can play in the PlayStation 2 game, but because like portability and replayability, like I would have to say the Game Boy game.
Cool. Mix of both worlds. Since we are getting a little bit close to the end, Jack, I want you to go ahead and hit up your recommendation for Darria, because I want to make sure we don't miss that before the end of the show. And I've been looking forward to it too.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So, have you guys heard of Strange Scaffold? The studio, they've done games like El Paso Elsewhere, Click Holding, and I Am Your Beast. Some PC games that have come out here recently. So they just released a new one. It's called Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. It is a match 3 game on PC. Yes, it is. It's a match 3 game that is kind of a parody of Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, all kind of shoved into one.
Interesting.
And it's basically your character is the main character in that franchise. It's the 3rd game in the series, and for whatever reason, like he becomes self-aware that he's in the video game, and he starts like basically talking to all of the other characters in the game. So like you fight like little compies that have like pistols and want to kill you, and just all kinds of ridiculous things. So it's like a match 3 game, just a puzzle game. But then it also had branching conversations like a Mass Effect or another RPG. So
that's cool.
It's I played about 5-ish hours of it on Steam so far, and I didn't think I would really get into it, but it's really clever. The writing is very clever, and the match 3 puzzles are really good. So
could you give me the name of the game again? I want to
say it's like 13. Yeah,
one added to my list.
It's Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. Yeah.
Is there a 1 and 2?
So one more time, it's no. That's part of the joke. Is
gotcha.
it's just 3.
All right, it's on sale right now, friends. It is 30% off, and it says that if you liked Final Fantasy VII, that you would enjoy it. That's what it's telling me. But there's a reason it's probably telling me that.
Yeah, probably. But it's like I think it's $13.99 on Steam right now. Like it's a pretty decent price.
I love that name.
Very cool.
But Darria, I would highly recommend it if you like puzzle games like Pack Attack, and if you like RPGs. So check it out.
Very cool. Will do.
And did you say Dino Crisis? Like it has some Dino Crisis in it?
Yeah. Dino Crisis, Resident Evil. I mean, basically the main character is stuck inside like that type of game.
That's cool. Yeah, I might have to give it a try. And that's what you're playing now, right?
That is one of the games I'm playing now. Yes.
I wanted to mention we had Kaitor on the show a few weeks ago. And I mentioned his SCART locks for the G-SCART SW that he was going to release later. And I just wanted to give an update on that they're really good. And they're really cheap. And they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They lock that SCART connector in place on the switcher. And since I've had those installed, because I used to have to periodically go back there because some magical wind comes through my basement, and then the picture gets all weird on one of them. So, but since I've got those, I have not had to manipulate them at all. So they definitely work. So if you're as when Voltar was here talking about how awful SCART was, and I was also having issues, if you have the G-SCART Switch, which seemingly everyone that uses SCART has, I would definitely recommend his SCART locks, especially before tariffs hit, because they're cheap and they work and they're easy to install. So, wanted to give an update on that. But in the last couple minutes here, should we do a lightning round of what folks are playing? I'll go last.
Sure, let's do it.
Since I usually go first, I'll go last. Darria, we'll start with you. We'll do a reverse order.
Okay.
So I've been I haven't been playing as many console games. I've just been been super busy, so I've just been having
Game of life.
yeah. But I've been playing something called Cozy Grove on the Switch. I initially discovered it as a mobile game a couple years ago, and recently revisited it because I saw it on sale on the Switch store. And I was like, I'm going to play this game again. And it's just a very chill game.
The art style looks interesting.
I love the art style for it. But Robert said it reminded him of Animal Crossing. I've never played Animal Crossing.
You should give it a try. Tara loves Animal Crossing. I like it too, but she loves it.
But I love this little game called Cozy Grove. Yeah, you get to help these little spirit bears like process things like that have gone on in their life so that they can move on. So
cool, awesome.
Man.
Well, since I didn't get a Switch 2 pre-order, which I'm not sad about at all, I will have a Switch 1 to play something on. But I'm not giving up on the Switch 2. But Logan, what are you playing right now?
Yeah, so I've also been busy with like film festival stuff for Edge of Oblivion and things. So I haven't played a game in the past couple of weeks, like a video game, but I did card game with friends recently on the weekend. I played it's called Puns of Anarchy. It's kind of like apples to apples, but you can edit the cards, and the goal is to edit the cards and create a pun with the words on there. And
that
boy, that was fun.
I've always liked puns.
I
Even though everyone seems to hate them.
I have a few friends that are crazy good
cool.
at puns. That game is kind of chaos when we're playing with them. So, yeah, that was the game I played most recently.
That's cool. That was the game.
Yeah, that was right after the Minecraft Revenge of the Sith double feature.
Your brain needed to recover.
Yeah,
from all the.
Wow, that was a full day.
It was a full day.
Heck of a day.
Here's the
Good
thing,
nerd
let's
day
yell
right
it.
there.
And Maul, what are you playing these days?
Yeah, likewise, not much for console gaming at the moment. I am running, with most of my spare gaming time, a D&D campaign. We're deep into Rime of the Frost Maiden for the pre-made adventures.
Cool.
Such a good time. We're pretty close to the end. We've had
Are you
many
DMing?
character deaths. I am, yeah.
Awesome.
Some people would think that being a forever DM is a curse. For me, it's actually kind of become my preferred mode, because I'm always doing things. I get like almost antsy as a player character, just like waiting, like. So like as a DM, I'm a character at all times, and moving stuff around. I just love manipulating all the parts. So I do enjoy running the game.
That's awesome.
I love D&D. When I do my game class, we do a kind of a week and a half to 2 week game of D&D in the class. And the first time I ever did it, one of the students happened to be Christina Nolan, happened to be an amazing DM. And so even though she's graduated, she still asks to come back and DM during those couple of weeks.
Nice.
So she prepares like an amazing, she's really, really good.
Awesome.
She's a really good DM. And so she prepares
cool.
these amazing games. And it's really fun because, some people in the class, they're not necessarily huge into video games. They just fulfilled a requirement or something. So they don't really know what they're getting into playing D&D, and they're kind of skeptical at first. And then so far, knock on wood somewhere, everyone has ended up enjoying it. And having like a really good time and getting into it and kind of being sad when it ends. So,
Nice.
so it's fun. I'm glad you're having a fun D&D game.
That's
and
good.
Jack,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Plan on teaching. I was going to teach my coworkers pretty soon here too. So we're gonna spread that joy out. I've had a lot of them requests to learn how to play. So
yeah,
but some of them have to learn to DM. I'm not running all the games.
It's a lot of work. You know. I mean, I meet with her like several times when we. I mean, she does the heavy lifting. Like, I don't want to take credit for it, but we meet and go over all the everything. You know, the story and the characters and what parameters we're going to set and everything. So we keep
it's like game design. You know?
It is. It's totally game. That's the class, right? When we talk game design, you know, it's a great way for them to experience game design and storytelling all in the same thing and kind of be thrown into it. So
awesome. I met Christina recently. She wants to do a one shot with like me, Aiden, and Jess, and her DMing.
Oh, definitely do it.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun.
You will have a good time. I promise. I guarantee it. And Jack, what are you playing?
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 and Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, as previously mentioned. Final Fantasy 16's been taking up a lot of my time. I've got to a certain point in the game and then I can't go back, and it's real. Like I said, I know I've said this for the last few weeks, but it's really got its hooks in me. The story's great. The combat keeps being fun, and so I'm gonna keep playing it. And then I've been kind of different still on my Steam Deck whenever I'm not in front of my computer. That game is still great, and I'm still just getting frustrated all over the place. Still have not found that aha moment where things have started clicking into place about some of the larger things that are going on. But my notes are getting a little more bizarre, and so I feel like I'm getting close to something. But nice. At least that's my hope.
Nice. Very cool. And I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 because of you. I'm not far at all yet, but the little bit I've played, I've liked it so far. I like the music, kind of as you said before too. So that's always a good sign. And as I mentioned before, I like to play like a lot of games at once and kind of bounce between them as things hit me. But Majora's Mask is kind of the one I'm playing primarily, and then when I am away, I've been playing Ocarina of Time on my 3DS. I want to try to beat the Prime remaster before the Switch 2 comes out, because I don't think there's going to be much of an improvement with that one. And then I started playing Fantasian Neo Dimension, which I'd been wanting to since Tri.
Oh, nice.
Recommended it, yeah. And it is a Final Fantasy 6 and before Final Fantasy game. Like, you definitely can tell that Hironobu Sakaguchi did it. I like the diorama style of the graphics too. It's interesting. I just, when I first saw that, and then it was on like a Apple, like an iPhone or whatever, I was a little skeptical of it. But playing it on PS5, I'm enjoying it so far. So I think if you like the Hironobu Sakaguchi style of RPG, I definitely think you should pick it up, because it harkens back to that, I think, more so than anything he's done since. So yeah,
that's awesome. If I can somehow manage to finish Final Fantasy 16 before comes out, that's the next thing I want to check out is Fantasian.
Awesome. Well, Jack, back to you. What do you want to say before we ride into the sunset this evening?
Oh man, I just want to say, play out. Sounds like they're getting shut down because they ran afoul of their new corporate overlords. So it was real while it lasted, but kudos to Dan, Jan, all those other guys over there. And I'm sure they will land on their feet. Those are tons of crazy and creative guys. So here's hoping they land on their feet. But it's been a long, fun run, and it's just sad to see it come to an end.
That's always.
So you got there for a second. Who was that again?
Giant Bomb.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so weird how that started as
the
like
owners
that
of videogames.com
separation, and then ended up becoming corporate again, and the whole thing crashing basically how it was previously. But
yeah,
que sera, I'm sure, like you said, they'll land on their feet. And Maul.
So just a reminder, for everybody, this weekend is free comic book day. So everyone, please find your local comic shop, see what they're doing for it. Not everyone's shops all make it big. I know in Vegas here, it's like a national holiday. Like everyone goes to the comic shops. It's a huge event. Everyone's in cosplay, tons of giveaway, tons of whatever. But even if they're doing it small, go visit your shop, pick up some books, give some new things a try, and maybe throw them a few bucks while you're in there.
Yes. Make sure they catch you.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
And Logan, what would you like to say before we head off?
I've also been checking out the new season of Andor recently, and that's been great so far. Great start.
Delicious.
So yeah, just making people aware of it in case they forgot that it was releasing, and you should check it out if you haven't yet.
Did you finish year 2 yet?
I have not finished the ones that released yesterday, but I finished the ones that released last week. No, I got hooked into Daredevil, so I'm like, I got focused on Daredevil here recently. But I'll watch the latest ones before soon.
Yeah, I need to start poking around more on the TV channel on our Discord because I need to talk to some folks about season 2 of Andor. It's
You'll be able to talk to me about it eventually. When I get some time. And Darria, what would you like to say before you head off?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, my boyfriend and I are currently trying to get through the season of the show that we're currently on so we can watch The Last of Us, season 2. So
Nice.
I am looking forward to watching those as they come out as well.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, it's been a fun show. It's really enjoyed hearing about your underappreciated games, and now I've got some stuff to play. Spondalucified. So look forward to seeing you
around for a copy of Pine's Quest floating on the internet somewhere.
Yes. Look forward to seeing y'all same time next week on The Game Show.